Is your small business growing? That's the question we address right here on the Grow Your Biz Show. It's where we interview strategic entrepreneurs who inform and inspire you on your solopreneur or small company journey. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Grow Your Biz Show. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Grow Your Biz Show. I'm your host, Paul Madsen, founder of GrowMedia.com. GrowMedia.com helps you, business owners just like you, to discover your greatness and bring that greatness to people who want it from you. Check out GrowMedia.com if you would. I'd like to thank our sponsor for today. ActionCoachOmaha.com is the global leader in business coaching for small businesses and businesses of all sizes. If you need to clarify your business and if you need to have some accountability in your business, contact Jim Barger at ActionCoachOmaha.com. I'm very excited about this episode of the Grow Your Biz Show. Excited because we are back at the Pinnacle Arena in Lincoln, Nebraska for the Heartland Shark Tank Pitch Calling Cast. What do they call it?
Yeah,
Casting call. Thank you. Well, I am with Andrea and Marquez Fernandez, and they are the founders of the Dough Bar, and they're going to tell you all about that. But they are people who have actually appeared on Shark Tank and actually got funding, and there's all sorts of great stories, also all sorts of inspiration for entrepreneurs. Welcome to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Thanks for being here, and not really too much of anything new for you because
I was born and raised here in Lincoln.
There you go.
So it's great to be back home.
Well, fun. Yeah, you know your way around, right?
That's right. Although the city is growing and changing a lot, so it's been a few years.
How long have you been gone?
I've been gone a little over 10 years now. So every time I come back, there's something new and exciting.
Oh, sure.
So.
Yeah. And when you left after high school or after college?
After college.
Okay. And where'd you go then?
After that, I went to New Jersey, so I spent some time on the East Coast, and then decided to check out the other coast where I met this guy in California.
You knew he was out there somehow.
Yes, that's what I like to think.
Yeah, she found me. Yes. And you connected. Were you working at a job where you met each other, or how did that happen?
Yeah, actually, go for it. The story.
Well, we met online.
Oh, okay.
So,
a lot of people do.
It's true nowadays. So we met online, and we just kind of hit it off right away, and now it's been almost 6 years. So we've been together.
Wow, and a toddler in the mix too.
Toddler, yes, definitely. Yeah. Actually, it was funny because we started the business 4 months into dating. So
Are you together? You were dating and you started the business?
No, I mean, we started the inception and everything of the business.
Oh, someone's in trouble. No, we'd been dating a little over a year, and then we got engaged.
Gotcha.
Right when we started the business.
Wow.
But it was really soon in the relationship.
And you decided to do the business together.
Yes.
Even though you weren't officially married.
Yes, definitely. Well, we told ourselves, okay, 50-50, no matter what happens, if it gets successful.
Okay. That's your prenuptial agreement.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Had that before the wedding and all that. Well, that's an early start story. That's great.
Yeah, well, we figured if we could work together, then we could do anything together.
Yes,
so
exactly.
It worked out pretty well.
Well, that's pretty cool. How did you get the idea of starting this kind of? I think you had some ideas on a treadmill or something like that.
Yeah. So long story short, we were at the gym one day. We like to work out together, and I was on the bike doing my cardio, looking at Instagram, passing time. So I follow a lot of athletes and a lot of foodies. And then I saw donuts, and the idea just popped up. And then I said, hey, we should make...
The idea of what?
Making protein donuts. We should make protein donuts and ship them across the country. So immediately I jump off the bike. I ran over to Andrea. She was on the treadmill. And I told her about this idea. And so the next day we went to Bed Bath & Beyond, bought a bunch of baking ingredients and equipment. And that same...
the next day?
I'm not kidding. The next day we were messing around making protein donuts.
Wow. And how do you have a food background? I mean, how do you know how much protein something has in it and all that?
Well, Marquez kind of saw this as like a science experiment.
Okay.
His background is in the medical field.
Sure.
Yeah, and mine is in HR and social work, so no culinary arts degree here.
No.
We just did a lot of experimenting. We had baked at home before, so we kind of had an idea of the main things you needed, but truly he said, let's go and let's try, experiment with different types of proteins and just see what we can come up with that will actually taste good.
Well, that's an important part too. It's a donut, right?
Yeah, a lot of Google, a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
But then it got further and further, and then we started to dive into like the science of different ingredients and playing around with. Again, I looked at it as like a chemistry project. So
and you've had that kind of coursework in your medical background.
Exactly.
You're RN and what else?
I'm a respiratory therapist and then also a registered nurse. So I have both licenses.
Sure, yeah. Well, he likes to study, right?
Yeah, I did.
Well, yeah, you formerly. Well,
used to.
Yeah. It seems like you studied a lot to create this formula. And,
very true.
I mean, again, I would just think you'd have to have a real scientific food-related background, but you just YouTube and Google and practice. Well, good point. Yeah. Oh, that one's bad.
Yeah. So we took our donuts. When we first started, I took it to the hospital. Had my colleagues try them. We took it to family and friends. And we got to a point where, hey, they actually liked it. So then the next step was, hey, let's send these to like our target audience, which were bodybuilders. So then we started to look at influencers on Instagram and social media and said, hey, we're a brand new company starting out. We haven't opened yet. Can we send you our protein donuts?
Well, how do you get the carbohydrates out of it? I mean, or are they still fairly high in carbs?
So there's 16 grams of carbs in each donut.
Wow.
Yeah. So with the glaze and toppings, it adds another about 10 grams or so.
Wow.
So total, it's about 25 to 30 grams of carbs. But what we're going for is a protein bar. So a protein bar.
Yeah, protein bars have tons of sugar in them.
Anywhere from 25 to 40 grams of carbs per protein bar. So that's what we were trying to go for.
Sure. Well, it makes sense. Even yogurt. Okay, yogurt's supposed to be healthy and good for you too. Well, I enjoying some yogurt, and I looked. 25 grams of sugar in the yogurt.
Ooh, yeah,
that's not healthy. I mean, and so you've got it, the formula cooked on down. Does it vary by flavor of the? I mean, how many different flavors or varieties of donuts do you have?
Well, it does vary by flavor. The base of our donut is the same, so we sell our donut and the glazes and toppings individually packaged.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so we ship them all across the country, and that's kind of how it comes.
In fact, I saw an unboxing video on YouTube about your product the other day, and that was it. They were putting together. It was a fun little family project, and it was awesome. And so I wanted to order some.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I mean, to us, that's the beauty. We always teach and preach moderation.
Yeah.
So we love the concept, and our customers do as well, of just being able to decide how much glaze you want or how much topping you want.
That's awesome.
Or add your own. And so that way, if you are watching your carbs or anything really.
That's really ingenious. Did you think of that right away, or?
I think so. I think it was a combination of knowing also to ship a product like this. It doesn't remain fresh and as tasty if you put all that glaze and topping on it as well.
Okay.
So it was just a combination of how can we best ship it. Yeah.
Did you know that right away? To have the ingredients separate? That's a brilliant breakthrough here, I think.
We learned that early in the game. We said, okay, look, if we want to ship these things, there's no way we can keep the glaze and toppings on them. We did look at different ways, and there are ways, but we said, hey, look, I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
People that want to do it themselves, they can do it themselves. We can separate the donut from the glazes and toppings.
Sure.
Because the bodybuilders, they count every single calorie that
they
eat, every single
right up
carb.
their alley.
So then it gives them the ability to, hey, look, I want the plain donut, and today I can't have that many carbs and sugar, so I'm going to hold off on the glazes and toppings,
right?
And I'm going to add peanut butter, or I'm going to add my protein mix on top of this donut. And then on the flip side, mothers love giving our donuts to their children because it's fun. They get to, number one, they're donuts, quote unquote donuts.
Yeah.
And so the kids are like, oh, cool, I get to eat donuts. But then also the do-it-yourself aspect. Yeah, they get to sprinkle their own donut. They get to have fun with it. So
you bet.
We kind of hit all spectrums of
the little 3 or 4 year old I saw in that video unboxing, he was having a ball just building his own. It's like building a cake. It just tastes like cake or something, and having a ball building it, and it's just such a great idea. Backing up a little bit. Okay, you popped off the treadmill, talked to Andrea. You said, let's do this. You weren't even married yet. What's the first step you do? You went to Bed Bath & Beyond, got some equipment to make this stuff, and so you're at your apartment. Was it a 400 square foot apartment?
Oh yeah, it was a smaller than a shoebox. there wasn't a closet, so it was a small space we were working with, but we knew we had to start somewhere.
Yeah, well, you got to start, right? And so, did it have a stove and you deep fryer? I mean, what were the next steps to using that equipment you bought at Best Buy? Or best,
yeah, well,
best
so
bath?
first thing, we practiced in the kitchen, small, little, tiny kitchen, which is also the living room and bedroom. No,
Right.
but so that number one, our donuts are baked, they're not fried. So that's
Okay.
how we keep the
Oh,
fat
awesome.
really low.
Oh,
So there's
okay.
only 4 grams of fat in all of our donuts.
Ah, okay.
So that's one of the biggest things, is we're baking them instead of frying them.
Gotcha.
But we got to the point where, okay, we feel, good with this product, and then we looked at renting a commercial kitchen. And then that's how we were able to scale up and make more and more donuts, practice at a higher scale,
Sure.
a different level. So.
And from there, you got the commercial kitchen. Now you have employees.
Yeah, we've grown. We've moved several times.
Okay.
We talked about how we moved from the studio to a 1-bedroom because the boxes wouldn't fit, and then a 1-bedroom to a townhouse because the boxes wouldn't
I
fit.
saw the video. They're walking down the hallway in the apartment, and the boxes are preventing them from, because you have a ton of shipping, and you're doing all that. You get an order online, I assume, and you pack the dozen up and ship it out, and you do all the labeling and postage yourself.
Yeah, that's correct. And we did
That's
start.
so time consuming.
Oh, absolutely. He left his full-time job at the hospital within 2 months. I
Really?
think.
That turned around that fast?
Yeah.
And do you attribute a lot of keyword optimization or SEO stuff to that, or what?
You know what? Our SEO was, for the most part, all organic.
Is that right?
All organic. And we use social media. So social media was like how we really, really, really turned this into a big wave.
Well, give us an example of that. I mean, I think a lot of our viewers are, how do I use social media? What do I do with Facebook? What do I do with Instagram? Et cetera? And, how do I get my idea out there using social media, still being unique? I was talking with Mindy about how, she's heard so many thousands of pitches over the years. How do people stay unique? How did you posture yourself on social media?
Yeah, so when we started our Instagram account, we kept it private, and we started to reach out to influencers, bodybuilders, because that was our target audience. We said, hey, look.
People who were successful in the field already.
Yeah, but we started at a lower level, looking at people that had 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers, people that we knew wouldn't immediately say, hey, you're going to pay me for this, right?
Yeah,
So we found, 5 to 10 people that.
So that's an interesting, so let me interrupt, interesting strategy to, not shoot for the top, because those people are all getting hit up by lots of people, and they want you to pay them for their endorsement.
Yeah.
And the little guys just starting, they're too little yet, so you target, you said 5,000?
Anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15,000,
followers.
and then we'd send them a message, hey, we're a brand new company, we're making protein donuts, you're our target audience, we think you would love this, can we send you product? And really all we want is your feedback. And period, that's all we wanted. But in the back
your
of our
feedback on social media, or
No,
or
we
just
wanted
in
your feedback on the product.
Target, you're the A/B testing, target
Yeah.
marketing, testing.
And at the same time, we were hoping that they would post on their social media.
Sure, yeah.
And 4 out of the 5 people that we first sent to, posted on social media. So
Yeah.
we started from like 10 followers. When they would post, again, 10,000 followers for this influencer, or even really just athlete, they posted, we get 100, we get
And
20.
you would send out to people you don't know. And which platform?
Instagram mainly.
Instagram is the one.
Yeah.
Because yours is a very visual type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that's leverage your relationships, even the people you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And
So we started off, again, like 10,000 followers, targeting those type of micro influencers, and then our Instagram account grew. Next, we had 10,000 followers. Next, we had 15,000, and then we had people reaching out to us.
Yeah.
And then we said, okay, cool. Now we have people reaching out to us, and then at that point we said, okay, well, now we can reach a little bit higher.
Yeah,
we can
because you have more followers.
We can reach out to someone that has 50,000,
Yeah.
100,000, and then it started to grow. Now we're at 173,000 followers on
Wow.
Instagram. All organic.
All organic. Well, that's terrific. Well, this is kind of a how-to show. Well, somebody, let's say you guys are young, somebody over 40, over 45 years old, who maybe not that great with social media or Instagram, whatever, where should they start? What should they do to get themselves getting some momentum like that?
That's a really great question, because we started the business 4 years ago, and
From scratch.
But social media has changed so much even in the 4 years.
Okay.
So when we started, the influencer market, it was out there, but it wasn't as prominent as it is today. So I feel like every generation has constantly there are new things coming out, and it's impossible to truly keep up.
True.
So I can understand and relate, no matter what generation you're from, it's easy to miss the new trend or the new thing.
Right.
So I'm not sure this is really his expertise. What would your advice be?
I think, there's three things. I think number one, talk to other entrepreneurs that use social media. See what they did, what they didn't do.
Okay.
Number two, use Google, use YouTube. There's so many videos on YouTube right now, how to grow your brand, whether you're a business, you're an influencer, you're an athlete, you can find a lot of information on YouTube. Lastly, I think I lost my train of thought with that.
Oh, yeah, we're just talking about the whole idea of how to build your influence on these various platforms. I mean, and what you said is true also. You got it back?
Yeah. So
don't lose it.
The last thing is, look for someone that's in college. So, some of the younger community out there that is looking to try to build themselves up. And if you're, in your 40s, you're starting a business. Hey, pitch it to them. Hey, look, I can pay you $100 a month or something like that. And to them, poor college student. Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But they're in the midst of what's trending, what is going to trend, so they know. So use them, and there's different generations. We'll reach out to someone that's in their mid to late 20s, and their take on social media is different from someone that's that's just out of college. And then
that's something, some
of the kids that are in high school, it's very different, and it changes. Just from the past 4 years of using social media, it's changed 3 or 4 times.
Well, so you tell us what it's like about Shark Tank. Now, you applied when, you got on when, you got accepted when, all this. Tell us that story.
Well, we applied twice. So the first time that we auditioned was in San Francisco, and we weren't even a year into the company.
Okay.
But we had decent, what we felt were decent sales.
Did you apply online, or did you go to one of these?
We went to one of the open casting calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they still have people in line here today. It's afternoon, and they're interviewing hundreds of people today for the Shark Tank right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Anyway, and so you went to a live one.
Yeah, we did. We went to there. It was at a mall in San Francisco.
Wow.
Yeah. So Marquez had been to that mall hundreds and hundreds of times, and we still went the night before and scoped it out because we wanted to get an idea, the lay of the land, and we decided to go for it. So we auditioned the first time, and we actually made it pretty far, which was surprising and really fun.
What do you mean by pretty far?
Through several rounds.
Oh, you auditioned through the group like that.
Correct.
Now, do they do multiple auditions in one day? Or you come back?
It's over a matter of weeks and months.
Okay.
Yeah, so for several weeks into months, we continued with the process, but we didn't make it. We didn't make the final cut.
You didn't make the final cut.
Not that time around. No.
Wow, how about that?
And at that time, we started the business in June of 2015. We auditioned January 2016. So, half a year into the business, and we had set by almost $80,000 in sales going into that first audition. And we were
after a year?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's great.
Yeah.
For first year, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you had a lot of costs, of course, a lot of sunk costs, a lot of research, and so sometimes I see the sharks say, "Oh, you're too early. I'm out," because it's just too early, and you didn't make it to the sharks itself. Did they ever tell you why you were out the first round?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we heard was the previous season they had a protein pancake that was on there. So it was very similar.
Interesting.
So that was one of the reasons why.
Something you can't control at all.
Yeah. Which made us feel a little bit better. It's like, okay, it's out of our control.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they told us from the beginning that there could be multiple reasons why you do or do not get on the show.
Okay.
And it could just be timing. It could just be fate. Like, there are just so many reasons why.
Yeah, well, and it's just got to be, this nonstop flow of ideas coming in. And I'm sure if one idea comes in and it's better, just a little bit better than the idea they just saw, well, then all of a sudden you're down the line a little bit. Mm-hmm. Well, were you dejected? You heard that there was a pretty logical reason for it, so. Yeah,
we were pretty deflated. I mean, it's a long, grueling process. You do have to kind of make a conscious decision. Hey, look, I got to spend 4 hours on this Shark Tank thing that can be, not even worth it, and it's a dream. It's kind of out there. But at the same time, for us, we use it as like, hey, look, we need to do this for the business anyways. Some of the homework that we needed to do, so we need to do it. We needed to, it helped us grow the business and mature.
Right.
And at the same time, we were kind of doing something fun and cool for Shark Tank.
Yeah, well, that's pretty fun. So how long before you decided to try it again, and where, and what happened then with all that?
Well, we continued the business for, let's see, it had been, I don't know, almost a year, and Shark Tank auditions were coming around again, but it was in the back of our mind, honestly. We were super focused on growing the business. We had done a Kickstarter campaign in the meantime. We were rolling out a new product. It was great. Yeah, Kickstarter was really good for us.
You must have reached your goals.
We got funded in 24 hours. So
whoa!
Yeah.
So I think this bodybuilder community is really behind you, isn't it?
Oh, big time. A lot of our Kickstarter came from our social media following.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And how much did you go for on Kickstarter?
I think our $10,000 was our goal, and I think we ended up getting about $22,000 for one of our protein bar. It was a protein Rice Krispie treat that we launched on Kickstarter.
So, in case somebody doesn't know what Kickstarter is, explain what Kickstarter is all about.
Well, Kickstarter is basically a social platform allowing folks to be able to raise money or contribute money toward an entrepreneur's dream, a product, or something that they want to become reality, and allowing those funds to assist in that creation, but at the same time, in exchange, receiving that product once it's created.
Right, and it's a crowdfunding platform, is what I understand. I experimented Indiegogo. Have you heard of that? Yeah. I did that one in case because you still get the money if it don't reach the top, but you reached yours and you still got the money, huh?
Yeah.
How much were you trying to raise again?
$10,000.
Okay.
So we got that within less than 24 hours.
And that, in your case, you weren't offering T-shirts; you were offering the product itself.
Yes.
And so it was just an early prototype. What's the incentive for someone to jump in and make a?
We had various, different levels of, what we call them, donations or. Different rewards for contributing different levels of funding.
What did you have, for instance?
The protein bar. So we were trying to raise money to launch a protein Rice Krispie treat. So depending if you donated $20 or $50, you got a box or 2 boxes of our protein Rice Krispie treat. Once we
did you have these other products then, or you already had them?
We actually had not.
Yeah,
we were still creating
you put yourself out there.
It was very.
And it's going to taste good, we promise.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And a lot of our supporters, had tried our donuts before.
Okay.
So a lot of the packets included donuts.
Okay.
So we were able to do that where they.
But there were new products on top of that.
Yes.
That you hadn't actually developed and proven yet.
We had we were in the formulation.
It was just an idea and a concept.
Wow.
We just started formulation when we launched our Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So long story short, we learned our lesson because we ran into a lot of hiccups.
I bet. Well, do you still carry these new products or not?
Yeah, it took us about 14 to 16 months to actually get to the finish line.
Wow.
When we told our Kickstarter community, hey, look, you'll have it in 4 months.
Yeah.
So a year later.
Oh, baby.
We learned our lesson. But it ended up being great, and the product came out, and very thankful for that
And
experience.
you still carry these?
Yeah.
Well, awesome. How many different products do you have?
Right now we have 2 types of donuts. We have our raised protein donut. We have a cake protein donut that is also gluten-free, and then we have our protein Rice Krispie treat.
Your timing is perfect out there with gluten-free and all the health things, high protein. Great. Do you have competitors out there or following you? Or?
We do, and of course when we started the business we did our market research and we realized, we kind of just figured out that we wanted to differentiate ourselves from our competitors. So yeah, but there are a few.
And how do you differentiate yourself?
Definitely our branding and our marketing, social media. Yeah. We try to put ourselves out there, but also Shark Tank gave us a lot of credibility. Yes, you got to mention the Shark Tank.
That's the ultimate one-up. Yeah.
Well, tell us about getting on then the second time. You dejected, so let's try it again. And tell us that story.
Sure. So, basically, Marquez kind of had a last-minute idea. We hadn't been planning on auditioning again.
He's an idea guy, isn't he?
He is. Yes, he is. And so I was 6 months pregnant at the time. I was tired. I was a little tired, but he brought up the idea and he said, hey, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We can't pass this up again. So we decided literally 2 days before to go and drive down to Southern California and audition for a second time.
Another call. Call for auditions, right? Wow. And you just got in line, waited, and did your pitch, and what was different? Why do you think you got accepted the second time?
Well, so our pitch was very similar. At the open call audition, we went through the full process again, but going through a full year of growing our business. So the first year we had $80,000 in sales. Right. The second time going back to Shark Tank, we said, hey, look, $70,000 in sales, XYZ. Now, second year in, we had $500,000 in sales.
Holy cow.
You know, we're growing. People love our concept. We have a 30% return rate, which is awesome. So it's not the fad. That was something we were worried about.
Yeah.
But we ended up, Shark Tank loved it. Hey, look, you've grown that much.
That's a unicorn or a hockey stick growth there. No doubt. That's awesome. And was it Barbara invested? Yeah. And how much did she invest?
$300,000.
Wow. Yeah. And is she as cool with all her entrepreneurs and the bike riding on the beach and all that stuff as we see on TV?
She's very cool.
Yeah.
She's a character. You know, she's hilarious, and I was a little bit surprised by that as well. You know, in meetings with her, it's very true to who she is on TV, which we loved.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, we could talk all day, but we need to wrap it up. Yep. Parting thoughts from each of you about advice to the fledgling entrepreneur, the person who wants to get out there and get started. What are your thoughts?
I would say, it's going to be a long process. It's not easy. Otherwise, everyone would be doing it.
Good point.
That's someone that's, a great mentor told us that. And, I think if I had to give one piece of advice is to have resilience, to know that you are going to get punched in the face. You need to get back up. There might be a day where it's a roller coaster. So there's lots of highs, lots of lows. But being able to continue to keep pushing and to have resilience and to get back up is really important during this journey.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Andrea, what do you think?
I guess more so just to use an example, when we started, Marquez dove in all the way, but I continued with the job I had during my day job. And, what we did is we just lived really frugally and we were conservative, and we just said, what's the minimum that we need to get by to pay our bills?
Sure.
But then any spare time that we had was spent on the business.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, that's the dedication and commitment that we had to moving forward. But at the same time, I didn't know how long I would still be working at my other job. And sometimes that could be 6 months, sometimes that could be a year. But, maintain the course. Don't give up. Get your bills paid, but dedicate the rest of your time to pursuing your dream until you're able to do it full time and until you're able to jump all in.
Right. I often say to people, make sure you have some form of sustainable income. Don't just jump in and say, oh, this is going to be great. And usually it isn't that way, and time and all that. These are great words of advice, great inspiration. You guys are a wonderful story and just fun to listen to. I'd like to talk all day some more. Here, we skipped a big chunk from the 80,000 to the 500,000. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in there.
I would tell you social media really helped.
Yeah, okay.
Social media helped a lot.
Good point.
And organically too. I think there are a lot of companies out there that try to grow and think that they can pay to get followers or spend a ton of money on influencers. His point is, go to the middle ground, find people who are interested in what you're doing, and just be genuine and say, hey, if I give you this and if you like it, post. Don't necessarily think you need to spend $1,000 on a post. It's not worth it in the beginning.
Walk before you can run, and use all those tools that you're talking about. Go back and watch this episode again because it's so packed full of wisdom and inspiration. I'm inspired, and I hope you are. Hey, Andrea,
thank
you for coming over.
All right, thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Marquez, as well. It's just a great story. Great. Thanks for coming to Lincoln, coming home, and we'll see you in the future, I hope. And in the meantime, between now and next week, when you tune in, go on out there and grow something.